The brand experience is the brand. And years ago, people would kind of look at us and go, well, what do you mean? And it's really a pretty simple concept, which is a brand is defined or perceived by people as a function of all of the ways in which that brand interacts with them. What it says, how it behaves, what products and services it offers. So when you think about it, it's logical, it makes sense. But after people understand it, they look at us and they say, well, how the hell do I do that? What do I do now? So the good thing that's happened over the last several years is, the world has kind of defined and they've articulated what they call the customer journey. And the customer journey really is a framework in which for people to think about and to use to create their own experiences. So what ultimately you have to do is, if you understand, every brand does not have a consistent journey and a consistent experience. Every brand has to be unique, and that's really the concept, is that the way in which you define your brand has to be expressed in all of its actions and communications. The way in which your customers walk through and experience your brand is quite different from brand to brand. So that's kind of the one size fits all is an interesting concept, because early days of our work, clients would come and people were presenting consistent structures, and you can't have a consistent structure. It's kind of customized. So it takes a lot of thought and it takes a lot of work to do that. The other thing to understand is, within a brand, your segments each have different journeys. So if you're selling an automobile, the way a single mom's going to travel through that brand is going to be different than a family. So the way in which, segments are different. And then certain companies, if they have multiple products, each product then has a different journey, right? So if you're selling if you're an automobile manufacturer, you're selling a luxury vehicle versus one that's selling a value vehicle, those journeys are going to be completely different. You do have to know your customer, and you have to use as much research and data as possible to inform that. What are their mindsets? And what are their mindsets and behaviors at different stages of the journey is really critical, because that will impact how you have to interact with them and what you say. What are their needs, right? What do they need? What's their intent coming in? What's the context in which they're coming into this journey and this experience? What are their intentions, right? What do they intend to do? And then ultimately, how do they reflect back on it? Do they see it as satisfying or not satisfying? So those are kind of really important aspects. So I think the idea of knowing your customer has always been there, but I think we have to know more about them now, because it's not just knowing what their perceptions are or who they are. It's far more than just demographic and psychographic. It's a lot of, now you have to have a behavioral understanding of your customer. We walk into lots of companies and they say, we really want to do this. We really want to create a branded journey. We want to do a really comprehensive brand experience. We said, great, what's your brand, right? And many companies said, good question, right? So you have to know what your brand stands for, because those guiding principles, you have to know what we call your brand idea, which is distilling down the essence of your brand to just a simple concept. And once you have that, you use that to guide your actions. You use that to guide your messages. That will make you different, right? So it's not just about creating an ad to say this is who we are and what we do. It's about delivering upon that. So I've been saying this for years, which is the worst thing that you can do as a company and as a brand is to put out messaging that sets an expectation, right? It says, this is what we want you to expect, this is what we want you to think about, or how we want you to think about us. And then when people engage with you, they have to experience that.